If you are a super fan of state parks, then you're going to want to watch this video all the way to the end. This is all about the state parks that are in Kitsap County, Washington. What's up everybody, it's Cassandra Lopez with a Living in Bremerton channel. If you're new to the channel, you're going to want to go ahead and subscribe. This channel is all about living in Bremerton. So whether you are new here for the first time or maybe you've lived here for a while and just want to know more, be sure to subscribe, tap that little bell so you're notified every time I drop a new video, and you can reach out to me directly. This is my cell phone and my email. Please feel free to reach out if there's anything I can do to support your relocation to Bremerton, Washington. Washington State is home to around 140 state parks, and Kitsap County has 5 of those. So we're going to talk about all 5 parks, kind of the features and amenities they have, camping requirements, rules, regs, all that stuff. So we are going to start at Kitsap Memorial State Park. So this park is in Poulsbo, Washington. It's on the west side of Poulsbo. It's on the Hood Canal. So you will have views of the Hood Canal Bridge, you're going to have views of the Olympic Mountains, and of course the Hood Canal itself. Kitsap Memorial State Park offers day use, so if you just want to like head over there for a picnic, there's a kids play area, lots of big grassy park stuff like you would expect. For overnight use, there is camping, so there's campsites for tents and RVs. There's some sites that have partial hookups and full hookups. There are also 4 cabins, so you can rent or reserve these cabins year round. They sleep 5, they have electricity, heat, cooling, little mini fridge, microwave. Just kind of a little setup there. So that's a cool jam if you're wanting to do maybe a little staycation. That even sounds fun to like us locals. Just go like 10 minutes up the road and rent a cabin for the night. That'd be a lot of fun. Kitsap Memorial State Park is a great venue for weddings. Weddings can be booked up to 9 months in advance. So I know that a lot of wedding venues will book out 2 to 3 years in advance, and they do book out that far. So this being kind of a shorter window, I would expect that it probably fills up relatively quickly. There's a big package available for weddings for like accommodations or like the kitchen use or the house use or like whatever. So you'll have to look into the wedding packages available there. One thing that I should note for boaters is there's not a boat launch at this park. There's a boat launch about 4 miles away, so you can drop your boat in the water there and kind of cruise down. There's moorage at the Kitsap Memorial State Park, which you can use for a fee, but there's no getting your boat in the water there. You can fish, but you cannot shellfish harvest at this particular state park, even though it is right there on the Hood Canal, which has some of the great shellfish harvesting in the area. As always, with any kind of fishing in the state, you do have to have a license for that. Kitsap Memorial State Park also has a really large group camping area that will accommodate up to 56 people. So this is going to be a special area that's got like sleeping accommodations and this sort of thing that's specific for your group. So if you have like a church function or a school function or a Rotary function or something like that, and you're looking for a large place that will accommodate a lot of campers, this might be a good option for you. This park does have restrooms and showers. Just down the way a little bit, still along the Hood Canal, is Scenic Beach State Park. So this is out in Seebeck. So it's a little bit south of Poulsbo, still on the western little border there of Kitsap County, still on the Hood Canal with all the western facing views that are very, very lovely. Scenic Beach State Park is a little bit more primitive in its camping setup, so it doesn't have RV hookups or anything like that. It does have 50 standard campsites for tents, half of which are available year round. The other half are seasonal, March through September-ish, so you're going to want to check to see when those dates are available so you can reserve your campsite. Fishing and shellfish harvesting is allowed at this park. However, shellfish harvesting is currently suspended due to the decline in population of the shellfish. Until further notice, they do not have an ETA on when that will be allowed. Of course, get your fishing license if you want to go fishing. There is a boat launch about half a mile away at Misery Point, but if you just had like paddle boards or something like that, you can just drop them right in the water at Scenic Beach. Scenic Beach State Park is also a really popular spot for weddings, so if you want to explore this option for a wedding venue, they do have packages available here as well. As a camping facility, this state park also has bathrooms and showers. The next state park is Illahee State Park, not to be confused with Illahee Preserve, which is also a park, but it's not a state park. It's a county managed, kind of more of like a trail walking preserve. It's right next to the golf course, not the state park that's like on the other side of the road. Illahee State Park has a lot of great covered like barbecue pits and that sort of thing. It's very, very foresty, so it stays nice and cool in there. And it also has a boat ramp, boat moorage, like on a pier, and then also buoy moorage. So all of those are at a slight fee. It's like $15 a night or something like that. There are restrictions on where you can put your boat depending on its size. If it's 45 feet or longer, it's got to be at the pier, can't be moored to a buoy, stuff like that. So I will give you a word of caution. So the road to get down to the beach, if you're bringing a boat, is a very narrow switchback road. And so you should probably be very experienced in navigating a trailer, especially if you are attempting to drive down that road. Even taking my just personal vehicle down there, you have to go like 2 miles an hour. So, but once you get down there, it's really beautiful. It's a lot of fun. Illahee State Park is on the east side of Kitsap County, so you're right. The waterway is called Port Orchard Bay, even though it's not in Port Orchard. And the view you have is eastern facing over to Bainbridge Island. It is a non-shipping lane, so you're not going to see ferries or anything like that. It's all just going to be personal boaters. And there's lots to do down there. There's like horseshoe pits and there's trails and all that good stuff, just like all the other parks we discussed. There is camping allowed at Illahee State Park. You can reserve spots, but if they are unreserved, they're first come, first serve. Some have RV hookups, some have different amenities, so you're going to want to check it out. I forgot to mention thus far in the video that I will be providing links for all of the state park, the Kitsap County State Park, so you can kind of go through and see, compare amenities, compare features, compare like all this stuff. So don't worry, you're not going to get lost in the weeds. You don't have to take notes. It'll be there for you. Fishing and crabbing are permitted at this park. In fact, you can fish and crab right off the pier. You don't even have to get all the way into the water. Although this particular park isn't listed as a wedding venue, I suppose you could definitely have your wedding here if you wanted to. There just aren't any formal packages or structures like houses and things that you could rent or occupy or use, like kitchens and that sort of thing. So you would just have to get a little creative with that. But it is a lovely spot, so if you wanted to go check it out, highly recommend. The fourth park is Manchester State Park. So Manchester is a little community in Port Orchard. So if you're looking at a map, you'll see Manchester is a little bit east and a little bit north of Port Orchard proper. It's on its own little peninsula. And Manchester State Park is really unique in that it's on the water. And so you have a full city skyline view of Seattle to the east, and then to the southeast on a clear day, you can see Mount Rainier. So it's very, very lovely and very scenic, as you can imagine. It's really quite gorgeous. There's lots of camping, so all the campsites are available for tents or RVs. So there's like hookups for your RV and stuff. There is group camping available, so if you have a larger group, that can accommodate like 12 RVs and a bunch of tents and stuff. So check into that if you have a larger group coming. For a wedding venue, you can rent out the Manchester Torpedo Warehouse, which is exactly what it sounds like, or what it used to be anyway. For your wedding venue, you're going to want to obviously make reservations well in advance. Manchester State Park does have restrooms and showers as well. And if I forgot to say in the last segment, Illahee State Park also has bathrooms and showers. I feel like there's a theme here that all state parks probably have bathrooms and showers. And lastly, we have Blake Island Marine State Park. So Blake Island, as the name would suggest, is an island. The entire island is the state park. It's really kind of fun. Boat in only, so it's not accessible by bridge or like ferry. You'd have to take your personal boat. It sits just east of Manchester State Park, and it's in between Bainbridge Island to the north and Vashon Island to the south. Bainbridge Island is Kitsap County, Vashon Island is King County, which is Seattle. So Blake Island Marine State Park, obviously boat in only like we discussed. There's a little park store, like a little ranger station style park store that's gonna have your like camping amenities like charcoal and maybe some food and like bug spray, like stuff like that, if you forgot, then they have that there. They have campsites, I think 44 campsites that are in peak season by reservation. And then after that, they are first come, first serve, but they are year round. And I think in the off season, you don't have to reserve. You can just kind of show up, because I can't imagine a lot of people are reserving campsites in like December. As you can only access the island by boat, there is going to be moorage for your boat. So there's docks and there's buoys that you can pay a fee for, like a day slip. And there's hours in which you have to like be gone. I think 8 p.m. is the cutoff for like, you know, boating away from your slip. So a few things that all of these state parks are going to have in common. So you're going to need your Discover Pass. So your Discover Pass is good for 2 vehicles. There's like space to write in 2 license plate numbers on your pass. You hang it in your window and it'll give you access to any state park in the entire state, not just Kitsap. So the Discover Pass is $30 for 1 year. And they're obviously good for 1 year passes. They have the month and the year that you bought it and when it expires. So I think mine is January because that's when I have my vehicle registration. So every January when I register my vehicle, they have an option to buy a Discover Pass with your registration. So I just do that. So mine expires in January and it gets you into any state park. So if you don't have a Discover Pass, then you can buy a day pass. In most parks, it's $10 for the day pass. So, you know, you visit 3 state parks and your Discover Pass is now paid for itself. And the day pass you just put in your dash as well. And it just, you know, it's for the day, obviously. I believe the day passes are not transferable. So if you hit 2 state parks in one day, you're going to have to pay for that twice. Right now in Washington State, the State Parks Department has issued a burn ban. So that is through September 30th, burn ban level 3 or whatever. I think that's the highest rating they have. So high burn risk. So they're not allowing any fires. So right now this is like July of 2024. So we're not seeing any fires till September 30th. I mean, it's really dry right now. It probably hasn't rained in like 2 to 3 weeks. Probably won't rain for another like month. This is definitely our dry season. So understandable, but you know, kind of takes away from that camping vibe, you know, with the marshmallows and the things, but it is what it is. If you bring your dogs, they have to be on a leash while in the state parks. You can't let your dog just run around willy-nilly. No matter how friendly they are and how good of a recall they have, they need to be on a leash. If you have a horse, none of these state parks allow horses, sorry guys, so no horses allowed. I should add a note about the fire situation. So that applies to wood burning and charcoal fires. So if you have like one of those portable gas fire pits, that's allowed. Or if you have one of those little propane powered like cooking stoves, like the little hot plates, those are allowed. Just no wood fires or charcoal fires until September 30th. And while most of the ranger sheds are unmanned these days, they're still enforcing pay slips, right? The Discover Pass and the day slips. So there are automated pay stations on site at every park, and the state park rangers do come around and they do check for these. I've seen them multiple times while I've been there. So it's always a good idea to just play by the rules and get your slip so you don't get a ticket. And while this video is just on state parks, there are a few national parks in the area, like there's Olympic Forest National Park, just over the Hood Canal Bridge to the west. There's Mount Rainier National Park to the southeast. So we have a couple of options there. And then of course, Kitsap County also has tons of county parks, and then each little city, like City of Bremerton, City of Bainbridge Island, City of Port Orchard, all have their own jurisdictional parks as well. There's tons to choose from. I'll put those links in the show notes as well, even though we didn't talk about them. There are literally dozens and dozens and dozens. This video would be so long, I wouldn't even know how to navigate that. So I'll let you guys look for yourselves where you would like to spend your afternoon picnic. As always, if there's anything I can do to support your relocation to Bremerton, Washington, please don't hesitate to reach out. Here's my phone number and my email. If you like that video, go ahead, give me a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and tap that little bell so you're notified when I drop the next video. Bye for now.